Hi everyone, my name is Riya Jha and I am a third year student in the School of Computer Science, Engineering and Technology at Bennett University. Bennett University is a private university which is affiliated with UGC and is located in Greater Noida, Uttar Pradesh in the National Capital Region of India. The university was founded in 2016 by Times of India Group and established under Uttar Pradesh Act number 24 2016. University has a fully residential 68-acre campus. The university has world-class faculty members from IIT, NIT, IIMs, and other institutes of national repute. Bennett University has tied up with a number of international institutions for curriculum design, guest lectures by visiting faculties, immersion programs, and other academic support. Some such institutions are Georgia Institute of Technology, Cornell Law School, Johnson Graduate School of Management, which is in Cornell University, Babson College. The university has a total of six schools and two centers on its campus. It offers undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD programs in the areas of engineering, management, law, and media. The medium instruction is English. The schools are School of Computer Science, Engineering and Technology, School of Engineering and Applied Sciences, School of Management, School of Law, Times School of Media and Mass Communication, School of Liberal Arts. And the centers are Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, CIE, and Center for Executive Education. The university also has an active student life and provides ample opportunities to students with varied interests to participate in different activities and events organized by these clubs from time to time. A few activities are the Alan Turing Club, Alexis Club, Nomads Club, Isaac Club, BU Pulse, and many more. And almost every one person out of three is given a salary of 10.2 lakh per annum, which is a very big achievement as compared to other colleges.
The topic is cyberbullying detection. We will be discussing what is cyberbullying, how prevalent it is, the different types and effects of cyberbullying, how to detect it, and the actions being taken by social media companies in particular to detect as well as prevent cyberbullying. We will be also looking into the actions that can be taken by judicial departments and how machine learning approaches in particular can be used to detect cyberbullying. Let's begin with what is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a subset of bullying, and this happens only through the use of online means like social media, messaging platforms, gaming platforms, and so on. While it happens only through the use of online means, we must keep in mind that this does not mean it cannot spill over the real world. It is a set of actions that are designed to harass a victim. I'll be remiss to not mention the differences between cyberbullying and bullying. While cyberbullying is still a subset of bullying, there are a few key differences which make cyberbullying a totally different beast to tackle as opposed to traditional bullying. Let us begin with anonymity. The internet offers anonymity to the individual for better or for the worse, and this makes harassment a tad bit too easy for the bullies. Also, since you can harass others as long as there is internet connection, cyberbullying can prove to be a bit more dangerous than normal bullying. Since memes and comments have the potential of going viral, this means that the victim can be opposed to far more bullies than they generally would have been. Also, since we cannot gauge the actual harm our comments cause on others, there is less guilt involved for all the parties. And this also means that the victims feel that the bullying is not real or that their cases are not so important. Having said all of this, there is one key factor over here which we should keep in mind, and that is that there is definitive evidence of cyberbullying. You can take screenshots and everything lasts on the internet forever, and this makes it very easy to document. Cyberbullying is an extremely prevalent issue in today's climate. This is due to the meteoric rise of social media and the lack of regulations, as well as the number of young people on these apps. Cyberbullying has been reported by 37% of children from the ages of 12 to 17, and 30% of people have experienced cyberbullying firsthand more than once. 23% of students have engaged in some form of cyberbullying, either in a very mild or severe form. Since cyberbullying tends to mimic real-world bullying problems, victims are more likely to be minority groups like women, queer folk, and other racial minorities. As we can see here, victims and offenders of cyberbullying are disproportionately girls, and as opposed to number of boys, 15% of young girls have encountered different types of abusive online activities. Queer students are more likely to face online harassment, and almost 50% of them experience cyberbullying, which is much greater than the average. It is also noticed that the youngsters who suffer from cyberbullying are more likely to engage in self-harm, suicidal conduct, be depressed than their peers. 60% of young adults have witnessed online bullying. Most of them do not interfere. And since cyberbullying is not considered to be a major problem, only 1 in 10 teen victims will inform a trusted adult, a parent, or a guardian. There are many different types of cyberbullying. Let's begin with exclusion and let us see how these different types of cyberbullying affect victims in different ways. So, exclusion. Exclusion is the act of singling out and leaving a person from different groups, chats, websites, etc., and using those chats to make comments or spread malicious rumors about the person. Harassment is making hurtful and threatening comments about a person, and this does include death threats. Outing and doxing. This is simply the revealing of private or very sensitive information about the victim, especially information which could damage them. This could be their address. Include This could also include their queer identity, especially if they are closeted in real life. Then let's get to trickery. Trickery is similar to outing and doxing in the way it does involve the reveal of personal sensitive information. But unlike in outing and doxing, where the information is gathered from other sources other than the victim, not directly from the victim, trickery does involve getting information directly from the victim. This is done by the bully befriending the victim and lulling them into the sense of security, and the victim then feels comfortable enough to share this kind of information with them. And that is trickery and outing. Cyber stalking. Cyber stalking is very similar to real life stalking in that it involves monitoring of social media accounts. It also involves making false accusations, and the threats made in a cyber stalking case can very easily translate to offline stalking. That is why you must be very careful of this one particularly. Frapping. Frapping is when a bully uses a victim's account to post nefarious content, and this is particularly damaging to the victim, as you might have guessed, because people just seeing the victim's profile might see this content, and that will result in a dip for that person's reputation. Masquerading. Masquerading is when a bully makes up a profile or a page online with the sole intention of bullying others. Dissing. Dissing is when cruel information about a victim has been found, and this is spread through public posts, through sending private messages and posting them on public forums. This information is particularly damaging because it could result in the victim's reputation or their relationships to be affected adversely. Trolling. Trolling, out of all the 10 forms of cyberbullying which we have seen, it seems to be the most innocent kind, the one which most people engage in. And this is what makes it particularly bad because it is very difficult to gauge when a line has been crossed. This is simply just making upset comments or angry comments, and this may or may not be cyberbullying, but it's very easy to take it too far. Flaming. Flaming is definitely cyberbullying, and it is different from trolling because this is a direct attack on the victim. The effects of cyberbullying are many. For example, anger at yourself as well as at others who are bullying you. Isolation because you feel that no one can relate to your experience and you have no one to talk to. Depression and illness because body and mind are interconnected and this can result in some severe illnesses. And humiliation. Let's finally talk about cyberbullying detection. As we have seen that cyberbullying is rife on all social media platforms and there are very little prevention. So, to prevent cyberbullying, first we need to identify it. Things like blocking, reporting, disabling comments, masking the like dislike button, and other standard measures can be used to detect cyberbullying, but these are just few. And the majority of these measures put the onus on the victim instead of on the bully. So, what are some questions which we need to ask before we start detecting cyberbullying? First is how effective are the current measures like blocking, reporting, and all? And how effective have regulations been? Does the company reply and does it respond in a timely manner if a youngster utilizes a reporting tool? And if this is the case, then is the bullying content removed? Is it taken down? Is some action taken? Or is it true that the content removal actually helps youngsters to resolve conflict? This is mostly focused on youngsters because they are the prime targets for cyberbullying and they are also the ones who are more likely to indulge in cyberbullying. Let us talk about the actions which are being taken by social media companies. We have seen a few anti-bullying policies like blocking, reporting, and all of that, but there is minimum data to support the effectiveness of such measures. Companies also may put more effort into developing anti-bullying mechanisms which are popular but not necessarily the most effective. And this results in the more popular approaches to be used in at expense of the less popular but more effective approaches. We shall now see how certain big companies are dealing with anti-bullying. Let's begin with Instagram. Instagram has comment warnings. So if a comment has potentially bad information, you can see a warning on it. You can report the comments. They are hidden words. Certain words are flagged and they are hidden by the algorithm. Restriction, tag and mention controls. The person posting content can modify the audience they are getting. You can block and there are limits which you can set. Instagram employs AI to detect potential hazardous content because it is not possible for humans to see through the sea of content and see everything that is potentially harmful. And AI can notify people if their comments are offensive before it is posted so that they may rephrase their comments and result in less harmful information being spread. Moving on to Facebook's policies and measures against cyberbullying. One is that they differentiate between celebrities and common folk, and that results in different rules for both of them. Also, they remove content that is meant to shame. Example, someone's claims about their personal sexual activity or someone else's sexual activity. And there is more protection for users between the ages of 13 to 18. There is also a comment moderation tool, and certain cases might require self-reporting. There is a bullying prevention hub. Having said all of this, it is difficult to find out how fruitful these policies have been. So on Reddit, there are subreddits which are moderated not only by an auto moderator but also by other people, and that results in the best of both worlds. Bumble has banned unsolicited and derogatory comments which can be considered fatphobic, transphobic, racist, homophobic, ableist, or colorist. Twitter can make certain tweets ineligible for amplification in top search results. All of this is done so that the cyberbullying doesn't go viral. We saw the actions taken by social media companies to tackle cyberbullying. Let us now see what the judicial departments across the world are doing to tackle this problem. Firstly, we need to understand that cyberbullying laws are mostly for protection of children. So it is possible that the laws which were aimed at tackling cyberbullying among children were effective when they were proposed, and some of these laws may have had a negative consequence for adult freedom of expression and privacy. In Europe, the European Commission has played a very important role in bringing companies together to create various self-regulatory processes for cyberbullying. In the US, however, such a systematic effort has been missing. Let us take a look at India's legislation. So, no specific legislation against cyberbullying exists, but there are certain provisions to deal with some aspects of online harassment. For example, Section 67 of the Information Technology Act establishes a penalty of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to 10 lakh rupees for sharing obscene information over the internet. Section 507 IPC says that anonymous criminal intimidation can result in imprisonment of up to 2 years for the person giving such threats. And Section 66C of the IT Act states that anyone who knowingly violates the privacy of others faces a prison sentence of up to 3 years and a fine of up to 3 lakh rupees. We have seen the different actions that can be taken to detect cyberbullying. But let us see what new technologies are being used to detect cyberbullying. One of the most important technologies to detect cyberbullying is machine learning. It has been used to detect cyberbullying cases as well as censoring text and pictures. We saw this even in the case of Instagram and in the case of Reddit. Now, we must remember that this is not perfect and many errors can be made along the way. For example, there was a time when someone tweeted a death threat to a mosquito and their account got suspended on Twitter. However, this is much better than humans trying to moderate cyberbullying because they will get overwhelmed with the sheer amount of content present on social media and it is just not possible. These are some of the research papers which show the new technologies being used to detect cyberbullying. Most of these research papers are on machine learning and artificial intelligence. So let us take a look at this research paper, which is Cyberbullying Severity Detection, a Machine Learning Approach. In this research paper, the intensity of cyberbullying was analyzed using a language-based method, and each insult or swear word in a curated list was given a severity rating. It was found, contrary to what we would like to believe, that the lowest severity swear words were more indicative of bullying because of how often they got used, as opposed to the higher severity swear words. Data was also gathered on the behavior of adults who engage in online sexual interactions with adults impersonating children. It was found that support vector machines, time series modeling, and term frequency were most useful to detect cyberbullying. So this was categorized on the themes of sexuality, racism, physical attractiveness, intelligence, politics, and the severity was divided into 3 degrees. This research shows how machine learning multi-class algorithm for detecting cyberbullying specifically on Twitter can outperform the existing AI and ML methods. Let's look at the cyberbullying detection system by University of Colorado's CST department. This system uses machine learning algorithms just like the previous one, and the comment of the user in this case will be analyzed using a pre-trained data. If the comment is harsh, the system will find the user's average talking pattern, how the user generally talks with the recipient of the comment in particular. Basically, there will be an analysis. And if the comment needs to be transformed, it gets run through a series of models, and the negative aspects are turned to positive aspects. Basically, the cyberbullying elements are removed, and if this new comment passes the test, as in it passes this algorithm and it is not problematic, it is sent to the receiver. Otherwise, it goes through the same process again.